But first, a Virginia man, Anthony Stewart from Lexington, is fighting a 44-year drug sentence. And some say his case is unique because the reason Stewart's appellate lawyer, John Kohler, believes Stewart is mentally disabled after suffering a brain injury at 14 and was wrongfully convicted. I spoke with Stewart's attorney earlier this week and why he decided to take the case and what he hopes to accomplish.
I have long felt that one of the problems in our judicial system is that we don't adequately address the problem of individuals with special needs, whether that is physical disability or, in the case of Anthony, he has a traumatic brain injury which significantly impairs his intellectual functioning. And the fact is that our system isn't designed to aid people like this. It's a system that approaches each case as if you're dealing with a neurotypical individual who can understand the court processes and make intelligent decisions about their future. Anthony Stewart is a gentleman who, as a teenager, was in a very bad accident, received a traumatic brain injury, and since that time has had a limited intellectual functioning, very low IQ. But he has never really been able to get the type of care and treatment that people like this need to avoid being taken advantage of, becoming involved in the criminal justice system. I don't want to say through no fault of their own, but because they are vulnerable to being taken advantage of. And our system processes them in a way that typically will avoid punishment, but also doesn't then steer them into the services they need to avoid being recycled through the system, the so-called revolving doors. I firmly believe that Anthony did not understand what was happening to him when he was convicted and sentenced to a very lengthy term in prison. I really think that his ability to appreciate the gravity of the legal process just was not there.
But what about folks who may say, and this is just me asking those folks who say, well, he committed the same crime again or the same type of crime again. What is your response to those people who may say, well, what about other folks?
All right. So the difference between Anthony and individuals like him and your typical criminal is that they do not relate to the world the way you and I do. They tend to be extremely trusting of other individuals. They tend to want to please those that they believe are their friends, and they become involved in these activities more out of a sense of reacting to their environment. This is not their deliberate choice. But more importantly, after that, that we can get Anthony the type of services he needs so that he won't find himself in this situation again.
The trial is July 12th in Lexington.